Hello BookTube. Today on my 2023 library tour, I will be covering my writing and art books. This is the most static part of my collection. I haven't picked up a new writing or art book in at least 3 or 4 years. So let's get going because I am running out of time. Anyway, let's get going. So first up is The Little Brown Essential Handbook for Writers by Jane E. Aaron. This is the writing handbook I've had since college. It's geared more towards writing nonfiction, although it does have the basics of writing. It's a trend-wise book, so it's going to go there for now. This is Wonder Book by Jeff Vandermeer. This is a writing guide geared towards writing weird science fiction and fantasy, much in the vein of Jeff Vandermeer's own work. It is gorgeously illustrated and very fun. It's one of my favorite writing guides. The Fantasy Faction Formula by Deborah Chester. This is also a writing guide geared towards writing science fiction and fantasy by another practitioner of it, even though she's not terribly good at it. This book argues that you really should make your characters' lives as difficult as possible to milk it for as much good drama as you can. And it also has a wonderfully detailed, perhaps even exhaustively detailed character creation sheet, which is, I think, its biggest selling point. The Guide to Writing Fantasy and Science Fiction by Philip Athens. This is a really good introduction. It's got all the basics. Athens is a great writer and teacher, and it has a really wonderful starter character creation sheet. Yeah, so this is one of my favorites, and actually one of the first writing books I picked up when I started my writing collection. And if you notice, a lot of my writing books are geared more towards science fiction and fantasy. That's because, creatively speaking, science fiction and especially fantasy are the genres that I think in the most, that I'm most creatively drawn to. This is On Writing and World Building, Volume 1 by Timothy Hickson. Timothy Hickson is a YouTuber whose channel name is Hello Future Me, where he usually talks about world building. And so what he does in this book, which is an extension of his earlier videos, is he breaks down certain world building concepts and discusses them in greater detail, drawing on examples from more famous popular cultural media, science fiction, fantasy shows. It's quite interesting, although you really just need to watch his videos that cover this. Another purchase I made inspired by YouTube is The Essential Guide to Getting Your Book Published by Ariel Eckstedt and David Henry Sterry. They are on YouTube as the Book Doctors, and this book is geared towards getting you published, as well as writing, but also those steps to get you published. I haven't actually gotten around to reading this yet, and given the fact that I was really excited when I got it, it's really need to. Probably would be an interesting argument to for a back to school nonfiction version, where for English I would be reading some of my writing books. This is Crafting Novels and Short Stories from the editors of Writer's Digest. This is another one that I haven't gotten around to yet. Keeping up with that trend is The Anatomy of Story by John Truby. This book has been recommended by a number of AuthorTube videos I've seen, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. This is Creating Character Arcs by Cam Wayland, which I really want to get to. Finally getting to a book that I have read. This is Dynamic Characters by Nancy Kress. She's a science fiction writer And this is a delightful, wonderful look at character creation. It's really good. I quite enjoyed it. Also by Nancy Kress is Beginnings, Middles, and Ends. And sticking with a character creation, this is Breathing Life into Your Characters by Rachel Ballin. I think this book takes a more psychiatric approach to character creation, although I haven't actually gotten around to reading it yet. Again, I really need to correct that at some point this year, maybe. This one here is really good. It is The Ultimate Guide to Video Game Writing and Design by Flint Dill and John Zerplatten. This is a wonderful look at writing for video games and video game design, although you can also adapt a lot of this to fiction writing. And it has a glorious character creation sheet as well as an organization creation sheet, which is you never really see elsewhere. But this is quite good. Moving down to the second shelf. This is Putting the Science in Fiction, edited by Dan Kobold. This is an anthology of short little articles and essays written by scientists with the aim of helping science fiction writers be a bit more knowledgeable about the subjects that they're writing about. I really didn't particularly care for this book, actually. This is a very thin book, The Elements of Style by William Strunk Jr. So the next few books are part of a series of books that aren't really about writing per se, as they are authors want to come out, taking a critical look at their own work. So the series is called The Art of, and the books I have in the series are The Art of Description by Mark Doty, who's a poet, who's actually quite good. And all of these are actually rather good. This is The Art of Intimacy by Stacey D'Erasmo, who I bail redeemed this past December. Partially why I wanted to actually pick up that book. This is The Art of Perspective by Christopher Castellani. And this is The Art of Subtext by Charles Baxter. Again, why I wanted to pick up his book Shadowplay. And actually, these four books sort of inspire, except for the Doty, kind of inspired my America 20 project in 2020. So I've had these books since before 2020. And I haven't reread them. I've read them all, but I haven't reread them. I probably should take a harder look at them. I think now we move on from writing to art. So this is Painting Brilliant Skies in Water and Pastel by Liz Haywood Sullivan. Liz Haywood Sullivan is one of my favorite artists, and this is a really good exploration of her techniques and of how to paint skies and water. And most of these books will be pastel, which is using little colored sticks to paint and draw with. This is Drawing Human Anatomy by Giovanni Cibardi. Not only am I interested in pastel painting, but I'm also interested in drawing, although largely for a more illustrative, a more comic book reason. Because some of my creative projects are a bit more comic books, or I see them as comic books, and have a hard time really trying to transition them to strictly novels, because I don't really have the art skills to really do what I want to with the comic book version of it. Anyway, this is pastel painting techniques by Guy Rodin. So these are pastels. So this is a really good introduction to pastel painting, although perhaps maybe a bit dated. but it's one of the first pastel books I actually ever read. This is Pastel for the Serious Beginner by Larry Blovitz, and this is also quite good. Now, the next book is one of the best books for comic book illustrators. This is Dynamic Figure Drawing by Burnt Hogarth. And so this basically looks at drawing figures in motion, or the illusion of motion. And it's quite good and I think highly influential. Sticking with drawing, this is Drawing the Male Figure by Joseph Shepard, which is a book that I've long wanted and quite happy to have it once I picked it up, even though it is in a very beat up edition. So the next two return to pastel. So this is How to Paint Portraits in Pastel by Joe Singer. This is a really interesting book. I haven't really given as much of a look at it as I really would like to, but it's quite good and it had some wonderful examples. Also by Joe Singer, this is How to Paint Figures in Pastel, which is, again, really a good book, although I really would like to have another look at it. So maybe I should do a back-to-school nonfiction edition. But I don't know exactly how I would do some of the other classes since I don't really have the wide array of nonfiction. This is The Art of Pastel Painting by Alan Flatman. This is one of the first art books I picked up. I've had this for about 6 years now. And it's a really good, basically mid-level sort of intro or look at it. Next up is Pastel Pointers by Richard McKinley. This is a more recent work by a master pastelist. He's also one of my favorites. And this one has a really great look at the business side of art, which you really never get. So no, this is really good. And it also includes a DVD, which I've never actually looked at. Or a CD. And finally, the last book on these two shelves, and the last art book is, and the last art book I ever picked up, I think, is this is Bridgman's Complete Guide to Drawing from Life. This is, again, a go-to book for if you want to draw people, for either a fine art reason or for a comic book reason, which is one of the reasons why I've long wanted to have this in my collection, and I was thrilled to have it. And I really do need to have another look at it because I picked it up from my library. So, yeah. So that booktube concludes part 2 of my 2023 library tour, the writing and art books. I will be back tomorrow to do the general genre fiction. And I'll see exactly when I can, so if I can maybe make a few more videos. But anyway, booktube, I need to go ahead and sign off for now because, again, I have to go make breakfast and about to start work. So anyway, booktube, I will upload this during my normal period and then do a tag video. So there'll be 2 videos. Well, when you get this, there'll be 2 videos up. But anyway, I will see you in a few hours with a tag video. So until then, booktube, thank you. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.